Hey guys, it's Nat and today I'm going to be sharing with you my September wrap up and what I am currently reading. So yes, at the end of the video I'm going to share with you the books I am already in the middle of, which I've most likely started in September but I just didn't get around to finishing. So hopefully I do end up finishing them in October and you will end up seeing them in my October wrap up, because yes, from now on I am going to be committed to monthly wrap ups no matter how many books I read. So yeah, let's just get on into my September wrap up first, because I read 6 books that I can't wait to talk about with you all today. So the first book I ended up finishing was Scarlet by Marissa Meyer, which was a reread for me. I originally, I think, read the series for the first time in 2016 because I remember I was doing my A-levels, and yeah, I finally thought I would continue with my reread because I reread Cinder in 2020, really enjoyed it, and now I picked up Scarlet, which is the second book in the Lunar Chronicles. If you don't know what the Lunar Chronicles are about, they are basically fairy tale retellings, but in the sci-fi genre. So yeah, in the first book we have Cinder, which is a fairy tale retelling of Cinderella. Second book is Scarlet, which is a Little Red Riding Hood. Third book is Cress, which is a Rapunzel retelling. And then the fourth and final book is Winter, which is a Snow White retelling, and I still can't decide for the life of me which book is my favourite. It's between Cress or Winter, but hopefully when I get a chance to reread them, which will be hopefully in the near future, I'll finally pick. But yeah, in the second book we still get to see Cinder and Kai's perspectives, who we met in the first book, but we also meet Captain Fawn, who's going to play a bigger role in Cress, which is the next book. But in this one we meet Scarlet Dubois, who is in France and her grandma goes missing, and then she meets Wolf, who is like a mutant soldier from Luna, which is the people on the moon. And yeah, they basically team up to find her grandmother, and of course there's a romance. I love Wolf and Scarlet so much as characters, just so good. And the audiobooks are great because for my reread I decided instead of reading them physically like I did the first time around, I would pick up the audiobooks because my library has them. They're so much fun, so I highly recommend if you haven't read these books yet, or just reread them because they are so much fun if you enjoyed them the first time around. So the next book is Undeniable by Melanie Harlow, which I gave 1 out of 5 stars. Yes, this was yikes. I can't remember the last time I hated a book this much. It's basically a romance that's enemies to lovers, marriage of convenience, fake dating, childhood lovers, like, you know, they've been in each other's lives since childhood. But we basically follow Oliver, who since they were little always dared Chloe to do things, like when they were like either 7 or 11, he dared her to jump off a barn roof and he promised that she wouldn't break a leg, but of course his promises are always lies. And then yeah, the older they get, these dares get more risky and like more crazy in a way, like they just get more sexual as well. And then one day like they just like break off contact because Oliver does something unforgivable to Chloe, and then like a couple years later they end up being brought back together and he basically asks her to risk her career, her life, just for him. And it's basically like them forming this bond over whiskey. I don't know, but oh my god, I hated this book so damn much. I can't remember if I do remember I did hate a romance like this back in like 2019. I'm not even gonna talk about that one. Oh my god, I hated this. Oliver, I don't understand how anyone could swoon for this guy. He is like a liar, just a total asshole because I can't find another word to describe him. I don't understand how Chloe's family could want Chloe to be with him for everything that he did. And like how this story is like told is from both point of views, but also it's in the present day, but also we get flashbacks to every dare that he dared her. Like we get to see their relationship throughout the years. But when we found out why they broke contact for the many years that they did, like I don't understand why Chloe would want to be with Oliver. Like no, I did not see any chemistry there. I absolutely hated this book. Like I despise it with all my being. Like, no, I don't even recommend you guys pick up this book. I don't think Melanie Harlow might be an author for me. I don't know if I want to try like another type of read, because so far I think I've only picked up like Enemies to Lovers, but I don't know, such an awful romance, my god. Then I picked up Aurora Burning by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff, which is the second book in the Aurora cycle, which is a sci-fi series following this crew that's in the Aurora Academy. And then, yeah, that's it. I don't know what else to say. But yeah, basically Tyler, who is the captain of this crew of misfits, he ends up missing like his test in the first book, where he like would have got to decide who his teammates are and stuff like that, because he rescued Aurora, who was like asleep on this ship. That's what I remember from the first book. I actually really enjoyed the first book, but the second book I gave 3 out of 5 stars. Like, it was okay, but it took me months to get through this, and I was listening to this as an audiobook. So usually Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff's stories are really good as audiobooks, but my god, after the second half of the book I just lost interest. I used to be such a big shipper of Cal and Aurora, but in this one their relationship just got so awkward for me, and I was just like, I don't find this comfortable. And like how the book ended I wasn't a fan of, but I was still intrigued enough to pick up the third book, which is the finale of this series. So Aurora's End by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff I also picked up straight away, and I gave 2 out of 5 stars. So I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. The series really went downhill for me. This last book is so damn long, and literally I felt like it could have been shortened by 200 pages, because it just felt like I was re-listening to the same thing over and over, which makes sense because they were stuck in this time loop thing when they were kept dying and going back, and like, I know, spoiler, but who cares? But oh my god, it could have been resolved faster. My brain just couldn't comprehend what I was listening to, just because it just kept being the same thing over and over again. And oh my god, I love sci-fi, but when it's sci-fi, this felt like I was reading a very bad romance, because apparently every person in the crew, so basically every person that was a main character that we got to follow their perspective, had to end up being in a romantic relationship with everyone. And I don't mind that, but also at the same time, why does a happy ending equivalent everyone having a happy relationship and not being single? Because what is that? I don't think Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff wrote the best romantic relationships in this one, so I was just not on board. As a romance reader, I do love romance, but like everyone, and some of the pairings for me were a bit cringy, and I was like, why? So yeah, sadly the series went downhill for me, because the first book I gave 4 stars to, the second book 3 stars, and then the third book and final book 2 out of 5 stars, so it just kept going 1 star downhill for me. But I'm still very glad I like picked up the audiobooks, because the audiobooks were quite fun still, because it's nice to have different narrators for different like perspectives, and it was just, yeah, a fun time, even though I didn't really enjoy where the story went in the end. Then I picked up Twist of Fate by Tia Louise, which I gave 3 out of 5 stars to. So this is a friends till lovers second chance romance between Scout and Daisy. Like, they've been friends for a very long time, but one week when Scout is back in town, him and Daisy like have this amazing hottest week of flings that they ever had, but then Scout leaves again, and yeah, because of a twist of fate, he might end up coming back into Daisy's life for permanent. I felt like this story was okay. I enjoyed it. Like, Scout and Daisy were nice characters to read about, but for me the story felt very lackluster. Like, there's a big time jump, I think of like 4 years between like their hottest week of their lives and like the rest of the story, and like they had a reunion after 4 years, and then Daisy like sprung up to Scout that something happened. Spoiler alert, surprise, baby, unexpected baby. And like the reunion after it happened, like 4 years after they saw each other again, like it was just, it happened too quickly in my opinion. Like they had a 4-year gap. People change a lot in 4 years, and like they just delved into a relationship so quickly and like marriage, and I'm just like, why can't you people take things slowly? I'm not the biggest fan, as I've said before, of like surprise pregnancy, especially when it's between the couple I'm supposed to be rooting for. So yeah, it was just an okay story, like nothing memorable. I don't think I'm ever gonna go back to this book. So yeah, I feel like this book, like, because I feel like couples get together so quickly, like into like very serious relationships, made me realize I really need to read some more slow burn, because I just miss the like build up tension time of characters to get to know each other, even though they have known each other for a little bit, and like, yeah, to get to know each other before they get into a relationship. So yeah, 3 out of 5 stars from me. Okay, but not mind-blowing. Then I picked up one book that I was very excited to be picking up because it was a new release. It is Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood, the author of The Love Hypothesis, which I really enjoyed. But this one, sadly, I gave 3 stars to. So it just felt like a very carbon copy of The Love Hypothesis, but just with slightly different characters, slightly different like setting. But we basically follow Bree, who ends up being offered a job at NASA to like lead a neuroengineering project, but she also has to co-lead with her arch nemesis from like graduate school, who is Levi Ward. He's always given her like the cold shoulder, so that's why they're nemesis. But basically this is like a secret identity, enemies to lovers, but not really enemies. It's just like people that are indifferent to one another. I felt like Bree felt Levi was more her enemy than he did, because, you know, secretly he was pining for her. And this should have worked for me, but I felt like I wanted a little bit like something different from Ali Hazelwood, because I felt like I was just reading Adam and Olive's story, but just slightly tweaked. And yeah, I definitely did prefer The Love Hypothesis more because I love fake dating, but this one didn't really include fake dating. But I did like the secret identity thing because Levi and Bree were friends on like academic Twitter, which was very interesting to read about. I just didn't really get like how people that work on these projects like for NASA are supposed to be very smart, but like Levi didn't think that when B like came into a room and he went all cold, like that he didn't expect her to think that he hated her. Like, I don't understand that. Okay, I just, oh my god. And B got on my nerves a lot. I was listening to this as an audiobook, like her talking about her obsession with Marie Curie. This wasn't like, oh my god, she's a fangirl. Like, this was pure obsession. She even like at the end of the book mentioned that she wasn't gonna like explicitly tell you something that she did that was related to Marie Curie, because she was like, you would think I was borderline obsessed. You are, girl, you are. Yeah, and for some reason I liked Olive because she was a graduate, so she was a little bit younger, I felt like, than B. But B, like how she sometimes explains situations, like how she explained her thoughts, I was like, am I really reading from someone's perspective that works for NASA? Like, I just don't get that. But yeah, guys, that is it for my September wrap up. As you can see, I didn't read too many 5-star reads. Some of them were okay reads, but hopefully in October that changes because I'm in the middle of some great books. So I am currently reading The Iron Flower by Laurie Forrest, which is the second book in the Black Witch series. I won't say too much about it, but I am very much enjoying this one. It's very slow paced, but I am very much enjoying it, and I'm glad I'm continuing on with this series because I did read the first book, The Black Witch, back in 2020, I think. And then I'm also on my Kindle, I'm reading a slow burn romance by the queen herself, Mariana Zapata. It's called All Roads Lead to You. I think. I'm like 40% into it. I was even reading it this morning in bed, drinking my coffee. Just the vibes are there. This is like the perfect autumnal slow burn romance between Aurora and Mr. Rhodes. Oh my god. I think his name's Toby, but everyone just calls him Mr. Rhodes. And I'm like at the 40% mark, I think, when we're getting more interactions with them, and I'm digging it. Digging it so much. This is perfect for what I wanted from a romance. But yeah, that is it for today. Let me know down below your favourite read of September, as I would love to know. Mine is probably my reread of Scarlet. And yeah, let me know down below what you're currently in the middle of, as I would love to know. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.